Part 355. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 3541. Although Fang Fan was not killed by his own hands, as long as he died, it would be fine. Seeing the melancholy and sentimental expressions on the faces of his grand-uncle Ji Shui Wanren and others, Caog was secretly excited to celebrate. Cool. So cool. This wave, he waited for it. Slowly, the figure fluttered directly, and the mind was also rising in an all-round way. Others, of course, needless to say. Just when Caog wanted to secretly poke his excitement, Tai Shiji's sharp eyes swept over him. My disciple wants to have something to do, so I will kill you to be buried with him. Tai Shiji paused word by word. Caog. Does this have anything to do with me having a hammer? What the hell, didn't I do it? You are too deceitful. This is not a place where you can run wild. I advise you to do it yourself. You are just a tutor of Guangming Academy. I am the first inspector of the city guards of Guangming God City, and Cao Tang, the lord of Guangming God City, is still my elder brother. Caog looked indignant, wanting to add a strong bargaining chip to himself. But obviously, it's useless at all now, it's terminated directly, it's just, nothing. Now this time I can still play with the chicken. All aspects are terminated. Oh. What does that have to do with me? I want to kill you, can you stop me? Can your clan brother, the city lord, still fly over thousands of miles away to save you? Tai Shiji smiled, with a calm look on his face. Caog. Don't bring such a bully. Caog wriggled his lips and almost cried. Oh shit. It's so hard for me. Can you still play like this? That's it? That's it? Mentality exploded. Shameless. Brazen. Caog trembled his lips, wanting to swear something even worse, but after seeing Tai Shiji's ferocious gaze, his body subconsciously backed away, deliberately retreating behind Xiahe Xiaotian, the commander of the city guards of the Bright God City. That's at least a bit of a sense of security. This is too difficult. Almost collapsed on the spot. The feeling of panic and anxiety swept through the whole body, and the whole person almost vomited blood directly. So difficult. So crazy. It's just, nothing. I can't play anymore. The scouts are back. The scouts we sent out just now are back. Everyone be quiet. Murongyu stepped forward and said hastily. At this moment, Murongyu's heart also hung up, and the look of panic on his face was very real. At this moment, Murongyu has no idea in his heart. Although Fang Fan has countless whole cards, but the whole cards are not omnipotent. What if there is a slight deviation or an accident? What to do then? No matter what you do, it won't work. Now it's complicated, very complicated. A little carelessness, the mentality burst directly, the brain collapsed on the spot, and nothing happened. How to play at this time? What the hell happened? Explain. The Protoss army, what's going on? Shui Wanren, deputy head of Guangming Academy, stepped forward and directly grabbed the scout. This, I saw a lot of corpses of Protoss soldiers on the ground. Those Protoss soldiers seem to be excited, and their casualties seem to be heavy. We can't hear their words clearly, but we can see from the dead bodies on the ground that at least a few thousand soldiers were lost. We didn't dare to get too close, so we inquired about this information. Now the Protoss is in a mess. The scout told as much as he could. Everyone frowned and couldn't help but fell into deep thought. This situation seems to be quite strange. What to do next is the key to the key. The Protoss, a mess. Call. I always wonder if there is something tricky about it. We all know the combat power of the Protoss. Relying on Fang Fan's combat power, how can they make tens of thousands of Protoss into a mess? And what the scouts mean is that the Protoss lost thousands of troops. That's even more impossible. After the 10,000 vanguards of the Protoss arrived, the millions of practitioners in the God City of the Seven Academy couldn't hold on. What's more, it's still in the army of the gods. Shui Wanren rubbed his sore head, and swallowed his saliva while talking. All kinds of thinking in the brain are fully gathered, and messy thoughts are also fully emerging. If it is someone else, it is naturally impossible to do this. But if it's Fang Fan, it's really not necessarily. For it. This guy has always been a magical existence. Never guess where his bottom is. Because I can't figure it out at all. I trust my apprentice. Thousands of Protoss soldiers must have been killed by my apprentice. And the scouts are just peeking at the leopard. Perhaps the number of dead and injured Protoss practitioners is far more than a few thousand. My apprentice, Super God. Uncle G rubbed his hands, looking particularly excited. If you don't believe in your apprentice, who else can you trust? For one's own apprentice, that naturally requires 100% unconditional trust. This is a big premise. Cough. This. Teacher Taishu, I didn't intend to belittle you, but I think the possibility of this is still too small. After all, there are still several strong demigods among the Protoss. Under the prying eyes of several demigods from the Protoss, can little friend Fang Fan and his follower kill thousands of Protoss soldiers? This. Could it be that these Protoss soldiers are all paper? Are they all allowed to be killed? Ji Lan, the Dean of Tianwu Academy and the Lord of Shencheng City of the 7th Academy, couldn't help but opened his mouth at this moment, and then sighed leisurely, his eyes flickered, and his facial expressions changed in a particularly complicated way. All kinds of messy thoughts gathered in my heart, and some of them couldn't distinguish clearly. The idea of Ji Lan, the Dean of Tianwu Academy, is actually the idea of the public. To kill thousands of Protoss with the power of 100 people? Even if Fang Fan is a demigod, the guards under his command are all saints, so it is difficult to do it. Now is not the time to discuss this. The key is, do we want to send troops? If the Protoss is really in chaos and loses troops, now is the best time for us to send troops. Instead of waiting until the Protoss reacts to fight me, it's better for us to choose to strike first. Preemptive strikes, and second strikes against others, I believe everyone understands this truth. There is such a good opportunity right now. Xia Xiaotian, the commander of the city guards of the Bright God City, licked his lips, and then said excitedly. He is the main combat faction, and when he saw the fighter plane, he was a little helpless. His keen perception made him feel that this was an excellent opportunity. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3542. No. Can't send troops. Too dangerous. Our Guangming Shencheng only has such a fortune, and it is still dangerous to defend the city, let alone take it out to fight in the field. I think this is a trick of the Protoss to lure us for the second time. Deliberately pretending to be miserable is to make us feel that they are vulnerable. Then after we hit them, they instantly revived with full blood. It's not like I haven't done this kind of thing. Yes. Absolutely so. No waves. Absolutely no waves. Otherwise something will really happen. Caog hurriedly obstructed him, saying that he just wanted to hang around in the city and wait to die. He didn't care what happened outside. Eager discussions followed. It's hard to tell the difference for a while. The public speaks the public's truth, and the mother-in-law speaks the mother-in-law's truth. Anyway, what everyone said makes sense. Vice Palace Master Shui. What do you think? Wu Meiling, deputy head of Guangming Academy, walked over from the side. At this moment, she couldn't bear to see Tai Shuja's anxious and haggard face. Then she couldn't help looking at Shui Wanren, hoping to make a decision earlier. Fang Fan didn't send out a signal. We can't move. Our previous agreement was that we must see the signal arrow before we can send troops. Since the signal arrow was not released, there are only two reasons. Either Fang Fan thinks that now is not the best time to launch a general attack, or something happened to Fang Fan. Shui Wanren's eyes flickered, and he couldn't help thinking more at the moment. Messy thoughts are connected together to become what they are now. Chaotic and complex. In the end, how to choose is the most important thing. A sense of treachery, full of gathering. Problem occurs. Impossible. It is absolutely impossible for my apprentice to have an accident. Shui Wanren. Your crow's mouth can be closed. Uncle Ji glared at Shui Wanren, and then complained from the side. If this possibility can be temporarily terminated, then things will be relatively simple. The basic situation is relatively clear. It's probably because Fang Fan thinks it's not time to counterattack. Wait, let's wait. Shui Wanren clenched his fists and smashed his own head, panting involuntarily, and all kinds of pressure in his heart seemed to be very heavy at the moment. But many times, he had to bear such pressure. Deep down, there must be a choice. The situation must also be stabilized. There can be no slight deviation. I can't take it anymore. Just kill it. Whether it's a mule or a horse, don't you know if you pull it out? I'm worried about my apprentice, so you're not worried about what happened to your son-in-law. With your cruel old father-in-law. Tai Shuja had a showdown, and while talking, he waved his hand with a very serious expression. 1 yard owned by a yard. Worry is inevitable. But this kind of thing can't be sloppy. Call. You must be safe, and there will be no accidents. I am the deputy head of the Guangming Academy, and I must take on this responsibility. Wait. Keep waiting. If something really happens to Fang Fan, I will rush to the Protoss barracks with you, and even if I blow myself up, I will blow them up to death. Shui Wanren gritted his teeth and insisted, all kinds of sharp lights in his eyes flickered to the extreme. At the same time, Shushan Pavilion small world. Fang Fan boy, what should we do now? Did you send a signal arrow before you came in? Let the big troops come and meet us. Otherwise, wouldn't we have been stuck here and couldn't get out? Bai Biao looked left and right, and said anxiously. Signal arrow. Oh. Forgot to post. Fang Fan shrugged and said calmly. The killing just now was so fun that I really forgot that there was such a thing. Forgot. Bai Biao's body trembled, and at this moment, his mind suddenly became bewildered. Good guy. Can you still play like this? Can our sense of rhythm be pulled back a little bit? Is it not good to keep doing this all the time? I can't help this state of mind. That's it? Play with hammer. Just shit, nothing. I'm crying, I'm about to cry. So we're stuck here. Can't get out here. It's too difficult for me. Bai Biao rolled his eyes and couldn't help complaining from the side. It's not that. The signal arrow can be fired at any time. It's not too late to send it out later. Besides, it's really not the best time to send signal arrows at this time. Take your time, don't panic. Fang Fan stretched his waist, looking calm. Never worried about this kind of thing. Brother Fang Fan, what do you mean we have to go out later? Is it too dangerous? The Protoss army has suffered such a big loss this time, and it will definitely surround the surrounding area later. Maybe some demigod-level Protoss will be watching here later. In case we come out, they will kill them directly, and we won't even be able to react. That's a Protoss in the demigod realm. Demigod, we really can't bear it? Kish's lips twitched, and then his eyes became erratic. It has to be said that what he said were indeed substantive situations. The overall situation still needs to be stabilized in all aspects. If you are not careful, there will be great deviations and changes. So if we want to go out, we need to find someone who can't be killed by a demigod powerhouse in advance and go out and check. There's nothing wrong with that. Fang Fan nodded, deeply convinced. He has considered these things before. People who can't be killed by a strong demigod. This. Brother Fang Fan, the strongest of us present is your pet keel whale, but that's only the middle-level holy state. The breath of the keel whale in the middle-level holy state is too strong. If you go out during this sensitive period, won't you be targeted? For the rest, we haven't been promoted to the holy venerable realm. This situation can't be controlled well. Gui Sha was stunned for a moment, and his brows could not help but frown as he spoke. His expression changed very quickly. But as he talked, everyone's eyes couldn't help but focus on the same position. Bai Biao shrank her neck, and somehow felt a chill down her spine. These bastards didn't think about good things. Good things are not his turn, bad things are all his resistance. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3543. So. Brother Bai Biao's meaning is in place, isn't it? This feeling, isn't it coming? Fang Fan shrugged, then smiled silently. A wave of feeling is in place, and now it seems too real. Let Bai Biao go out to inquire about a wave of information, and if there is nothing wrong, he can go out secretly to launch a wave of sneak attacks. If the situation outside is really changing, then naturally you have to choose to escape in time. You can't just sink in, the danger can be imagined. If other people go out, if the Protoss has a demigod powerhouse guarding them, they may be wiped out as soon as they show up. From this point of view, it seems dangerous. But if Bai Biao is allowed to investigate, he can use his super defense. In a way, that's what counts. Bai Biao twitched the corners of his mouth, and couldn't help rolling his eyes aside. I just knew it, I just knew it. It's definitely not my turn to do good things. Every time this kind of bad thing happens, I have my share. Fang Fan boy, you are too treacherous. How can you look like this? Won't your conscience ache? Ah! I won't go. I won't even go to death. I don't want to go out and die. Don't pull me into anything. Bai Biao shrunk his neck, and while talking, the posture of gnashing his teeth was fully displayed. Now Bai Biao only has endless regrets in his heart. It must have been out of my mind at the time, that's why I followed Fang Fan to the Protoss to investigate. If you want to investigate, you can investigate, and no one will stop you from investigating, but there are some things that you really can't do. If you do this, there will really be problems. Go to the Protoss after fighting and killing in the camp for so long, how could this be for investigation? This is clearly for the massacre, okay. Bai Biao swallowed a mouthful of saliva, his eyeballs couldn't help flickering all over, his lips were pursed, his expression was haggard, his eyes were dull, and his expression looked hopeless. Brother Bai Biao, is this fear? Fang Fan tried to use the aggressive method. But this time even the aggressive method was useless. Bai Biao just gritted his teeth anyway, and made up his mind in his heart. The indignation in the depths of my heart surged to the extreme, and my body couldn't help shaking violently. Don't do it. If you say you don't do it, you don't do it. Even if you beat me to death, that's the answer. Humph. I don't want to die. Don't try to pull me into the trap. I'm not that stupid. It's too dangerous outside. Bai Piao curled her lips, and then complained. So, brother Bai Piao's super defense, is all fake. Can't even withstand a blow from a demigod. Gisha said with a startled expression on his face. Bai Piao. Although I knew it was a conspiracy to provoke generals, but this sounded inexplicably irritating. In any case, this face must be controlled in place. Mentality, stay on the spot. In all aspects, this is more critical and important. As for the other ones that are there or not, just follow them and clean them up. Nothing. Snort. I have never paid attention to the attacks of demigods. Bai Piao raised his head proudly, with a rebellious expression on his face. But even if you don't pay attention to it, there are some things that are not calculated in this way. Maybe a demigod can't instantly kill me with one blow, but what about 3 strikes and 4 strikes? What will I do then? How can I hold on then? Wouldn't it just be cool by then? Hey, the situation is like this, the thing is like this. Even if I stay here all the time, I don't want to go out and take risks. The greatest tragedy in the world is that the Star Core has been earned, and it is dying, but it has not been spent yet. Life, when it becomes clear. Bai Piao raised his head silently, and while talking, the gleam in his eyes became more and more intense, and his posture was surging to the extreme in a few words. It's true, it's clear. It's slow, and it's really interesting. Do not worry. As long as you sustain the first blow, I can pull you back from the outside in an instant, and I will definitely not let you take the second blow. Furthermore, there may not necessarily be enemies outside. Well, if you've been hanging around like this all this time, you're really prone to problems. Before we killed a lot of Protoss people outside, we haven't had time to pick up those storage rings yet. The fragments of the Divine Stone and the Spring of Life in the storage ring of the Protoss are good things. Fang Fan mentioned the storage ring, which involved the fragments of the God Stone and the Fountain of Life. Slowly, all kinds of ideas gathered in an all-round way. As for the others, there is no need to say more. I understand everything. If you really don't understand, you can't follow me now. That's the truth. Very apt. The last harvest, I want to get an extra copy. I was wandering outside at the risk of beheading. This is not too much for me. How dangerous it is, you can't perceive it. I have to give me some stimulation from the Star Core. Otherwise, even if I go, I will be unwilling. If there is another malfunction at that time, won't it be really cold? Bai Piao sat on the ground and raised the price, and now it's back to the original point. That's all the things that come to mind in this brain. Good. No problem. Things that can be done with the Star Core are nothing serious. This is the principle that Bai Piao has always followed. In every way, nothing. Just calm down, there is no need to get involved too much. Then you must pay attention to my call later. As soon as I yell, bring me back. Otherwise, I will be beaten to death by those angry Protoss. Fang Fan, you must, be careful. Before Bai Piao left, he gave thousands of instructions. Fang Fan Mo nodded with an expression on his face, with a look of innocence. It's already this time, why are you still in such a panic? Things are about the same. I know. Go quickly. Fang Fan hurriedly urged from the side. He needs to know the situation outside as soon as possible, and make a more detailed battle plan. Bai Piao came out of the small world of Shushan Pavilion, and appeared secretly. He is still in the slaughtered army tent at this moment. Now there are no other figures in this military tent, only one mutilated corpse after another. Obviously, this place has been used as a morgue. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3544. It is precisely because of this that it is actually quite dangerous here. With the morgue as a cover, it is really unlikely that other Protoss will find this place. Call. Not bad. Fortunately, there is no danger. So many corpses. This storage ring didn't even have time to take it away. It's bloody to touch the corpse. When he first came out, Bai Piao was flustered, but now, his whole body is in a state of fluttering. While talking, he swallowed saliva frantically, and his face gradually became flushed. It is difficult to express in words the excitement and surging feeling deep in my heart at this moment. Slowly, the whole body and mind exploded. Infinite stimulation is gathering. Interesting. This is really exciting. Touching the corpse, Bai Piao is definitely a professional. Bai Piao rubbed his hands together, and then started to do it. Drilling into the pile of corpses, picking up wave after wave, I don't think it's sloppy at all. The more you touch it, the more excited you become, with a look of joy. In the small world of Shushan Pavilion, everyone looked at each other and looked at each other. Brother Bai Piao has also been out for several minutes. Why there is no response? Nothing will happen, right? Brother Bai Piao is out alone. I'm afraid it won't work. The risk factor is still very high. It's not good if there are some accidents. Zhuo Qiuyao opened his mouth, and while talking, he looked sad. When things came to an end, they had to be dealt with. You can't be blind, right? It's definitely not okay to not care about anything. Brother Bai Piao won't be instantly killed by the demigod of the Protoss right after leaving the small world. Perhaps Brother Bai Piao's defense is not as strong as he boasted. If that's the case, wouldn't it be that we entrapped Brother Bai Piao? Gui Shai had a guilty expression on his face. He couldn't help walking back and forth at this moment. The anxiety on his face was beyond words. He didn't know what to do now. He was like an ant on a hot pot, circling around in a hurry. This matter needs to be clarified. Fang Fan fell silent. After a brief thought, he immediately came to a conclusion. There should be no danger outside. Don't you guys understand Bai Piao? If his life is really in danger, or if he is unable to resist the attack of a demigod, it is absolutely impossible for him to go out. Since he went out, it can only show that he has enough self-confidence. In this way, there is no need to worry about many things. In terms of mentality, I can be a little more stable. As for why this guy didn't come back right away, I'm afraid there's something out there that's enough to tempt him. Stay here and don't move around. I'll take the Blood Shuro Legion and the Low Heavy Machine Cannon Legion out for a trip. We'll be back when the small-scale sneak attack is complete. In the small world of Shushan Pavilion, you are absolutely safe. Fang Fan nodded, and then said to Gui Sha and the others, followed by the two armies, and returned to the real world with the least movement possible. Just after returning to the big real world, there are pieces of corpses of the gods that have been pulled apart one after another in front of them. And Bai Piao is moving back and forth in this corpse at this moment. Again. Developed. There is actually a fragment of a god stone in this storage ring. Tisk, so cool. This is equivalent to sitting and picking up babies. It feels so good to be a prostitute. Bai Piao was about to fly excitedly. Seeing Bai Piao's extremely elegant appearance, Fang Fan was speechless. Sure enough, it was not too different from what he predicted. This guy really came here. The rhythm of doing things is still so strong. Are you done touching? Fang Fan walked forward silently and said softly. Bai Piao's body trembled, his 7 orifices smoked from fright. If it wasn't for Fang Fan's sharp eyesight and hand to cover his mouth, this guy might be about to howl in an instant. Touch, I'm done touching. What the hell? Fang Fan, you bastard, almost scared me to death. Whirring. Scary, so scary. My fragile little heart almost burst. Fang Fan boy, you are too insignificant. Good on. Don't bring such a scary. Bai Piao was about to cry. While talking at this moment, his teeth chattered crazily, while speaking, his eyes gradually became erratic, his body curled up extremely, and his face showed extreme disappointment. Mental blood collapsed on the spot. This, how to play. Bai Piao's forehead was covered with cold sweat, he couldn't help panting heavily at this moment, and slowly lay down on the ground, clutching his chest at this moment, his panting posture was displayed to the extreme. In the atmosphere just now, the feeling was too deep. How did you come out? Didn't you say you were waiting for my signal? I haven't sent the signal yet, you came out by yourself. How dangerous it is. Hey, really, I don't have any sense of danger, that's it? That's it? It's nothing. Hold on, okay. Bai Piao rolled his eyes, and then complained to the side. We want to sense the signal you sent, but you have been touching the corpse since you came out, how can you have time to send the signal? That's why we came out to find you. What's going on around here now? Don't touch the corpse, it's important. Fang Fan supported his forehead, and then couldn't help but let out a breath of foul air, feeling rather helpless at the moment. Ah! What's the situation? It's just, there's nothing wrong with it? That's it? When I came out, there were only these corpses. I didn't see a living person either. Boy Fang Fan, why don't you wait until I finish touching the corpse, and then send a signal arrow to let the large troops in the God City of the Seven Courts come out. It's better to come and meet us. Fang Fan boy, what do you think? Fang Fan boy, be careful, don't waste time. While Bai Piao was talking, his eyeballs kept moving wildly, and his expression changed very wonderfully. It's not yet time. Don't worry, there is no need to worry at all. Well, it is very necessary to be steady. Fang Fan nodded, and while speaking, his sharp eyes swept around. My lord, the surrounding areas have been investigated. Within 100 meters of the surrounding area, there are no traces of Protoss cultivators. Bayless, the commander of the Low Heavy Machine Artillery Corps, stepped forward silently, looking a little excited. Good, very good. In this way, we can directly break the game. Add another fire, and it will be just right. Move to a position 50 meters away, and then use heavy machine guns to bombard for a minute. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3545. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, and then ordered. The full-scale battle has just begun. Among them, the scale that can be controlled is relatively large. Obey my lord. Bales, the commander of the Low Heavy Machine Artillery Corps, nodded quickly, and then led his troops over silently. The full-scale battle has just begun. The bloody fight begins now. What happened next became more and more interesting. How to develop the situation afterwards, there is always an excuse. Rahua, you brought the Blood Shuro Legion to cover the Heavy Machine Artillery Legion. After they finish bombing, quickly cover them and evacuate back. Remember, don't love to fight. Mainly focus on weary enemies. Fang Fan groaned, and then ordered directly. At present, this point is still more critical. Obey. Luohu nodded, and then quietly hid in the surrounding darkness with the Shura knife in his hand. Boy Fang Fan, you can go to toss it hard. Hey, I won't die until I reach the Yellow River. I'll see what you can do better. In the end, sooner or later, the blood will collapse. How nice to be safe and sound. If you have to toss, you have to toss. Tossing and tossing, what's the point? How dangerous it is. It's not impossible to see. What if something happens? You boy, you can't stay idle. Bai Piaoxu babbled, and he couldn't help but increase his words. At this moment, the desire to complain became stronger. While talking, he kept yelling from the sidelines. Hush! Do not speak. Reduce the sense of presence as much as possible. Be prepared to evacuate at any time. Fang Fan squinted his eyes and glanced outside the military tent. At this moment, the Blood Shuro Legion and the Low Heavy Machine Cannon Legion have moved to another military tent not far from here. Slowly, everything followed in place. Boom. Rumbling. The bombardment sounded again. The Protoss camp, which had been quiet for a while, suddenly became lively again. Even some Protoss cultivators had just erected the destroyed military tents, and before they had time to lie down, they were blasted into several pieces. The howls of ghosts and wolves gradually increased, and the sounds of complaints from the surroundings also gradually gathered in an all-round way. Damn it! This damn Star Core cannon, why is it coming again? Protoss language. Crap! How the hell do I know? I'm also in a daze now. Trash. It's all rubbish. I vomited, just vomited. How can I fix this next? Get out of the way, it's too dangerous here. Run. Now this place has become a cursed place, and it has been cursed by the devil. Curse? Is there really such a thing? Hee hee, I would rather believe what I have than believe what I don't. Anyway, it's right to run now. When it comes to the critical moment, the generals don't know where to go. Hey, the general is incompetent, exhausting the whole army. We don't even have a chance to take a good rest now. The Star nuclear cannon seems to be fired from there, it seems to be the same place as before. Could it be that those enemies have never left, and have been squatting there? Maybe it is, who knows about this matter, it's nothing. Rush over, speed up, speed up. My little heart is beating wildly. 1 foot in the past. This time, we must kill that thief. Otherwise, it will be too annoying. I have been doing things in the back, and there is no end. That's right. Anyway, I can't bear it this time. Brothers. Go straight. Listen to my command and jump over. Speed up. The Protoss soldiers who were bombed began to come out with wave after wave of abuse, and began to drink violently. This mood is naturally depressed to the extreme. The desire to complain is also gathering in an all-round way, and the mentality is in a state of blood collapse. One by one, they began to rush towards the position where the Star Core cannon was fired. In the tent of the Central Army, Alan, the second-class god general of the Protoss who just lay down, suddenly opened his eyes. His complexion is extremely sinister. Again. Asshole. Die. Alan, the second-class god general of the Protoss, roared, and the central military tent suddenly trembled, and then the keel connected inside began to separate by itself, and then gradually shattered into pieces. At this moment, the sense of the picture is particularly strong. The Protoss cultivators guarding around the central military tent looked at each other. At this moment, they looked at each other, and they didn't know what to say. Their eyes flickered all the time. At this moment, they shrank their necks, and their eyes seemed a little beautiful. God will be angry, and they will suffer. Alan's sharp eyes scanned the surrounding area, and then instantly focused on the place where the Star Core shells had been bombing. Still in that place. Those people have never been there. This is a challenge to us. Hateful. Where are they hiding? When I searched before, I never found any trace of them. And why? Did you miss something at that time? Call. Damn it. Damn it all. Anyway, I have to go and see. We must control the current situation. This group of damned enemies must be wiped out. Destroyed. Alan, the second-class god general of the Protoss, clenched his fists, and while talking, his eyes were full of murderous intent. At this moment, I already have a comprehensive decision in my heart. Later, just a kill. At the moment of death, there is complete silence. What else is there to talk about? Tens of thousands of Protoss cultivators started heading towards the same direction. On the walls of the God City of the 7th Academy. Even though it was late at night, the city was still full of people. Everyone gathered here, and none of them went back to sleep. Such a night, how can there be the slightest desire to sleep? It's bombing again. The Protoss, have you started to put on a show again? The key is that we have ignored them until now. What's the point of them being so good all the time? Shui Wanren, deputy head of the Guangming Academy, squirmed his lips and felt a headache inexplicably while talking. Now I don't know how to guess. Could it be that these Protoss cultivators themselves went crazy first? Or they just like to play with star nuclear cannons by themselves? Just for fun? Then start self-mutilation, blowing yourself up all over your body? Do you have this special hobby? Puzzled. I still stick to my previous thinking. This must have been caused by my apprentice Fang Fan. Uncle G held his head high and raised his chest, excitedly saying. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3546. If my apprentice doesn't trust me, who else can I trust? Tai Shuji's thoughts are particularly firm at this moment. The more I think about it, the more it seems like that. At the same time, the smile on Grand Uncle G's face involuntarily increased. At least now, there is a high probability that his precious apprentice is still alive. No matter what form it takes to survive, as long as it's alive. As for the rest, in a way, it doesn't matter that much. Just calm down mentally. How can this be? It's just nonsense. As long as Fang Fan has 100 people by his side, he will be swallowed up in minutes by the God Clan army. How could he still show up? This is simply impossible. Perhaps that Fang Fan has already been decapitated. This is a conspiracy specially thrown out by the Protoss, the purpose is to lure us over. Humph. You really are treacherous and shameless. To put it bluntly, isn't it just such a routine? I've seen it through. Caog, the inspector of the city guards of Guangming Shenzhen, curled his lips, and then complained from the side. Now every time he finished speaking, he shrank his body towards Xiahe Xiaotian, the commander of the city guards, as if saying this could make him feel a little bit more secure. I was beaten too badly by my Uncle G before, and now I have left a psychological shadow in my heart. The more I think about it, the more I feel that this is the case. Full of aptness. For it. So are we going to attack now? This is a second chance. Xiahe Xiaotian, the commander of the city guard army, clenched the sharp blade in his hand. While speaking, his face couldn't help revealing a look of anticipation. While speaking, his eyes quickly glanced around. Invisibly, full of anticipation. Even, there is an extreme sense of excitement. What to do next is the most important thing. Wait, the signal arrow. If this is really the movement made by Fang Fan, it means that they are safe now. If not, it is impossible to carry out a second bombing. No signal arrow was sent to us under safe conditions, which only shows that in Fang Fan's opinion, the best time has not yet come. We should trust his judgment. So now, just keep the overall situation stable. Waiting for an opportunity. Trust Fang Fan. Although this bastard is careless about matters of men and women, he has never been confused about major matters. Shui Wanren, deputy head of the Guangming Academy, narrowed his eyes, and couldn't help swallowing his saliva at this moment. Although there will be some tension in my heart, but at least I can control the corresponding rhythm. Mentally, be steady and don't be too sloppy. It feels like it's taking off gradually. Why not attacking again? It doesn't make sense at all. I really don't know what you are shrinking from. If you are like this, if you are as good as the sky, you will be able to be a deputy palace master. When I become the head of Guangming Academy, I will directly dismiss you. Uncle Ji curled his lips, then glared at Shui Wanren and said, let's talk about it someday. Have the scouts sent out come back. I want to know the most detailed battle situation ahead. Shui Wanren's heart froze in his throat, thinking in his heart at this moment, his eyeballs turned rapidly, and his eyes flickered to the extreme. After a 1-minute full-scale bombardment by the French heavy machine gun corps, they gathered around Fang Fan in an instant. For the next thing, don't do it. It's real to be steady. Now tens of thousands of Protoss cultivators rushed towards the side like crazy. If they continued to stay where they were, wouldn't they be giving them a living target? So, completely unnecessary. Walk. Fang Fan glanced into the distance, then raised the corners of his mouth slightly, and disappeared in place again. Bai Piao looked at the remaining corpses that hadn't been explored with reluctance, with pain in his face. What a pity. Back in the small world of Shushan Pavilion, Bai Piao still looked sullen. Rest assured. I can still go out to touch the corpse later, there is still a chance. Fang Fan glanced at Bai Piao, then shrugged. This is telling the truth. Bai Piao was stunned for a moment, and then his face changed even more, his eyes flickered all over, and he was immediately stunned. What do you mean? I don't quite understand. Still going out? Fang Fan boy, you are crazy. The last time I took the risk to go out, what are you doing now? Is this really going out to die? Fang Fan, don't do it, don't do it. If you go to die, I will not accompany you. Good guy, scared me. Bai Piao curled up his body, and then spoke sternly from the side. Things have come to this point, you can't just play around. Too difficult. Correct. Just now I was patronizing to touch the corpse, it seems that I didn't see you sending the signal arrow. Cao. Boy Fang Fan, you. Bai Piao's eyes suddenly trembled, and while talking, his teeth shook wildly. Now the mood is broken. Didn't send the signal arrow again, isn't it trapped here again? So what's the point of going out just now? Going out for a lonely? Is that the case? Bai Piao gritted her teeth, completely stupefied on the spot, she didn't know what to say. Nothing. It's not time to launch the signal arrow. Don't worry. After all, it is a strategy of exhausting the army. This time and 2 times, it is still too far away. Fang Fan nodded and said seriously. Bai Piao. Fang Fan, if you want to play with fire, I won't accompany you. Good guy, don't be too crazy. If something goes wrong, how do we play? Good on. Bai Piao's complexion changed rapidly, and then he rolled his eyes crazily, and now he doesn't want to say anything anymore. This topic can be ended immediately. Then you don't touch the corpse outside. Actually, you just need to go outside and see what's going on. As long as the situation is not right, I will drag you back in an instant. And the location where I ordered the low heavy machine artillery corps to bomb is not in the original military tent. In general, there is still a certain distance. So the Protoss may not be able to check it. You yourself said before that the military tent we are in has now become a morgue. If it was really a morgue, it would have given us a chance, and they would most likely ignore it. As long as we fiddle with it a few times, it will be much easier for our army to catch them all in one go. Wouldn't it be better for us to give them a middle bloom at that time? Also, we are closer to these Protoss cultivators. If we touch the corpse, it will be easier. In this way, the harvest must be full. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3547. Wave after wave of words entered Bai Piao's ears. Bai Piao squirmed his lips, then subconsciously licked his lips again. The sound of breathing became rapid. Thinking about it carefully, it seems that this is indeed the case. The more you think about it, the clearer your thinking becomes. Don't you need to think too much about the next ones. Be calm in your mentality. As for those who are there and what are not, naturally there is no need to say more. This. It really looks good. Then let's go out quickly. Let me touch the corpse. I cannot stand it anymore. Now I find that touching a corpse is really cool. Every time it's like opening a blind box, that feeling is so beautiful. Bai Piao's eyes widened. The more he talked, the more excited he became. The more he talked, the ruddy his face became, his eyes flickered, and his thoughts rushed to the extreme. What a surge! Just for fun. Cool. I can't go out now. Slow down. At least half an hour will pass outside. The small world of Shushan Pavilion will take at least 5 hours. At that time, there will be another wave of full-scale attack. Everyone can act on their own now, and talk about it in 5 hours. Fang Fan stretched, then said calmly. Brother Fang Fan, did you just mean that the flow of time in this small world is different from that of the big world outside? Hiss. Brother Fang Fan, are you sure that no supreme true God will be reincarnated? Brother Fang Fan, if you are the reincarnation of a true God, you must tell me in advance that I need to familiarize myself with the process first, otherwise this feels too strange. Gish's head subconsciously rubbed forward, and while talking, he couldn't help swallowing a mouthful of saliva, and his eyes couldn't help but wander a little. Anyway, this brain melon is also very changeable. It's a real hammer. It's not the reincarnation of the true God, I'm afraid it's also the Son of God. It is said that this kind of small world that can live in people is only available to true gods. As for the small world that can even change the flow of time, it's even more awesome. So no matter how you look at it, it is beyond the reach of ordinary people. It's just strong. I was shocked. So powerful. Zhuoqiuyao added a fire path to the side at the right time. This is getting more and more outrageous. Fang Fan didn't want to explain this topic anymore, it had been explained too many times. Don't think too much about it. If you feel too boring, you can dress up a little bit, and then go around the world. I'll call you when I need to go out. Fang Fan waved his hand, then moved his right hand slightly, and a miniature version of Chu Tian's small world appeared in front of him. There are jagged buildings everywhere, crowds of people, and hundreds of clans contending. Is this a creature in the small world? Brother Fang Fan, can you even control this? Hiss. This is no different from the big world. The law of heaven is so perfect. Scary. Before, I never thought it would be like this. Gudong. Zhuoqiuyao was really shocked, his face flushed red, his eyes flickered, and he didn't know what to say. What a surge. Before, he thought he knew Fang Fan well enough, but now it seems that the so-called understanding is probably the tip of the iceberg. The difference is too much. Brother Fang Fan, suppress the universe, and be strong forever. Fang Fan rubbed his slightly swollen head, and couldn't help laughing wryly at this moment. What can I say? Just keep silent. Listening to too much, my brain hurts. In the small world of Shushan Pavilion, laughter and laughter continued. But outside the small world of Shushan Pavilion, in the Protoss army, there was already a dead silence at this moment. Where are people? Where did the person go? Speak. Speak. Are you all deaf? This God will ask you. Who was firing the cannon just now? Asshole. Asshole. Get out. Get out. The growls couldn't help but increased, and the gnashing of teeth was fully displayed. The second-class god of the Protoss swept Alan's sharp eyes around, with an extremely sinister expression. At this moment, he looked extremely unhappy. How can you bear it? I can't bear it, I really can't bear it. When I came here for the first time, I had nothing, and I was completely fooled. Now it's like this again. What kind of trouble do you want? Do you want to continue to toss like this? Damn it to the extreme. At this moment, the anger in the depths of his heart gradually fluttered, his hands closed into fists, and he grabbed a nearby Protoss cultivator, and then tore him into pieces bit by bit. Now only by relying on this method and means can I get a moment of peace in my heart. Crazy. And look desperate. Urgent, yet low-key. Who can tell me? Tell me. Alan continued to walk around, his steps depressed and heavy. Those Protoss cultivators around were uneasy. At this moment, he shrunk his neck in a terrified posture, and his mentality exploded. How to play? I can't play anymore. No one wants to be the next target of this Alan god to tear the Lord apart. Is it bombing again? It means that the group of people didn't leave at all. Hee hee. Hee hee hee. What did I say earlier? I said, to launch an attack directly. If you launch an attack directly, how can there be such things? Now that it's up to now, is it like this ghost again? The morale of the army is so chaotic now. Although the bombardment just now was short-lived, the scope of the attack was not small at all. Thousands of Protoss warriors were bombed to death in their sleep. Don't you need to explain this matter, Lord General Allen? How? Could it be possible that Lord General Allen has never had the slightest repentance? A sneer came, and Tal Happy, the third-rank god general of the Protoss, walked over. Every word and deed is crazy diss and complaints. The resentment in my heart can be clearly expressed through words. At this moment, thinking about things is also heavy. Now he doesn't care about the dignity of status anymore. For Talha, Alan at this moment has no dignity for him at all. This is a fool. Stupid idiot. Stupid to the extreme. The more I think about it, the more depressed I feel, the more I think about it, the more angry I feel, and I can't wait to pounce on this bastard in front of me and bite him into pieces. It is because of such a stupid leader that the current wave after wave of defeats has been caused. Now being hanged and beaten like this, are you still here impotent and furious? Interested? Does it make sense? I don't want to think of ways to deal with it and change it. Talha's face gradually became indifferent. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 3548. Do you know who you're talking to? Is this the attitude you have towards me now? Alan, the second-class god general of the Protoss, narrowed his eyes and looked at Talha. The anger in his heart was raised to the extreme. Noble, don't you want it? All gone? Hee hee. It's not my attitude towards Mr. Allen, but Mrs. Allen made us chill. If Mr. Allen is really thinking about us, why did he become like this? I don't understand, I really don't understand. If Master Allen is really thinking about us, please allow me to lead the remaining Protoss warriors to attack. At least, let us die well. The general dies in 100 battles. The strong man returns after 10 years. Hee hee. I can't accept being bombarded to death for no apparent reason. While talking, the third-class god General Talha of the Protoss gradually became indifferent, and the brilliance in his eyes was fully gathered, and his posture was extremely surging. In every way, that's what happened. As for the others, there is no need to get involved, they are nothing. Madness. In the heyday before, we were not absolutely sure of winning. Now that we have lost 1/3 of our troops, our morale has plummeted. What do we have to fight? At this moment, it's too critical. I mean, you don't understand at all. The ghost here must be found out. There must be something tricky in it. That group of people can't just disappear. Are they still invisible? Is a teleportation array established here? Can they teleport them instantly? No. Not right, this possibility is unlikely, there is no fluctuation of spiritual power here, it must not be the reason. If it's not for this reason, what else could it be? Weird, so weird. Call. Disappear instantly. Hiding it underground. Everyone. Dig 3 feet for me. Surround this place for me. Deploy 10,000 troops here tonight, and guard them tightly. But if you find any clues, immediately issue an alarm. Alan, the second-class god general of the Protoss, was so angry that while he was talking at the moment, his complexion turned blue and white, and his lips cracked directly as he spoke, and there was an inexplicable sense of suffocation in his chest. I always feel that something is stuck deep in my heart, but I can't tell what kind of feeling it is. It's amazing, beyond words. He. In vain. General Allen, I think you are afraid. How can the warriors of my god race be afraid of these ants? Even if I only have 1,000 Protoss warriors, I dare to charge. Talha sneered, his eyes full of sarcasm. The more he said, the more weird his expression became, and the uncomfortable gestures gathered all over. Just, nothing. Alan's clenched fist loosened again. Although he really wanted to smash the brainless idiot in front of him to death with one fist, he finally gave up. Although this guy is a little brainless, he is still a quasi-demigod powerhouse after all, and he is also a third-class general of the Protoss. With such scarce troops, don't cut off your own right and left arm. Besides, this series of changes happened, and it's not that Alan has no responsibilities. In other words, he was indeed wrong several times. The more I think about it, the more anxious I become, the more I think about it, the sharper my eyes become, and my state of mind is surging to the extreme, and I am speechless about the rest. Nothing. Just hold on. For the rest, I don't want to say more. Alan walked on this area of apprentices, he trampled on every inch of the apprentices here, his spiritual consciousness swept the surroundings crazily, and finally overdrawn his spiritual consciousness to the extreme, cold sweat flowed down his forehead crazily, but from beginning to end, found nothing. It seems that all of these seem so indifferent. Alan gritted his teeth, and his face gradually became haggard as his teeth touched up and down. He didn't know what was going on in his heart, all in all he was in a bad mood, very bad. Did it really disappear out of thin air? Who fired those Starcore shells that bombarded them? It just appeared from here. I can't be wrong. Where are those sneak attacking thieves hiding? Why, can't see anything. Why? What a headache, what agitation. This damn it all. If you are caught by me, I will, definitely let you all feel the pain of being cut into pieces. Come out. Come out. Roar. Alan couldn't help roaring like a wild beast, but no matter how he looked, there was no way out. God General, Your Excellency. On the side, a soldier of the Protoss said tremblingly with his lips trembling. Alan, who was in a rage, made the other Protoss soldiers feel terrified. Explain. Alan played with the air, let the air explode little by little, and his mood would become very good. He likes to play like this, it will give him a sense of stimulation, and he will feel very comfortable inexplicably. This feeling is not bad. Yes, it is the corpse of our god race warrior, the corpse. Snapped. The stuttering Protoss soldier took a big slap in the face and slapped his face crookedly. At this moment, blood was pouring out from his mouth, and the whole person was prostrate on the ground, entangled with the soil, looking extremely miserable. Explain. Alan came over and played with the Protoss soldier in front of him. Now his spirit is a little abnormal. Normally, he wouldn't do this. Even if he is extremely angry in his heart, he will show a kind of love for soldiers like children. But today, he didn't want to pretend, he was too tired. Yes. That, many corpses in that camp have been, all moved, and the storage rings have been taken away. Cough, cough cough cough. Puff. While talking, the god race soldier spat out a mouthful of reverse blood, which was mixed with some internal organs. All in all, it was extremely miserable. But he finally said all he needed to say. The corpse was passive. The lost storage ring. Alan's eyes lit up, and he couldn't help showing excitement on his face at this moment. He seemed to have discovered something, and was a little uncertain. He looked at the Protoss soldier lying on the ground in front of him, trying to share his joy with him, then raised his head silently, and stepped on his head directly. Click. The sound of skull cracking sounded, and Alan excitedly started dancing. This information is very important. You are a meritorious minister. Ha 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 ha. Laughter, very creepy. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3549. Alan, the second-class god general of the Protoss, walked over, his body trembling slightly, and then he swallowed saliva frantically. It's here, definitely here. That's right. This place has been flipped so chaotically, there must have been someone here before. It's just that I didn't find out before. Damn, damn. Almost got fooled. Steady. Be sure to hold on now. Where are they hiding? Disappear out of thin air? Impossible. Absolutely impossible to disappear out of thin air. Originally, it must be here. The second-class god general of the Protoss, Alan, rolled his eyeballs crazily, thinking to himself, his thoughts were tumbling, and his thoughts were bursting out. The more you think about it, the clearer it becomes. At this moment, the thinking is in place, and the eyes are flickering. All, disappear. Alan roared, and then a powerful force began to erupt crazily around him. The corpses following the surrounding area instantly shattered into blood foam, and the blood sprayed across the sky, which was inexplicably horrifying. Boom. Bang bang bang. The storage rings flew up in the air one by one, and then fell to the ground again, making pleasant crisp sounds one after another. With a glance at the past, the mentality is basically in place. At this moment, his eyeballs were frantically moving, and his expression was extremely sinister. No. Nothing. Under the ground, there is no air, not to mention. Even if you put on the invisibility cloak, it shouldn't disappear so cleanly. Where is it? Where the hell is it? Alan, the second-class god general of the Protoss, trembled his lips, his expression suddenly became numb, and his state of mind at this moment seemed particularly depressed. He has tried his best to find it, but he just can't find it. Anxiety from the bottom of his heart came, and it was about to destroy him completely. Pain. Too painful. The more you think about it, the more you lose your mind. I can't wait to tear everything in front of me into pieces. Die. All must die. Master Alan, why obsess over this? Initiate a full-scale attack, destroy the city in front of you, and then slaughter the city. Wouldn't it be fine? Isn't everything over? Why are you in a trance here? This, interesting. Instead of wasting time here, it's better to kill. Talha, the third-class god general of the Protoss, only wanted to launch a desperate charge. Until now, he was going crazy. Shut up. Be quiet. Today, just stand here. If they appear again, they must all be killed. Alan clenched his fists, and his mental power was highly concentrated. On the ground, there are all the storage rings of dead Protoss soldiers, but no one cares now. If Bipiao saw the scene here, he might fly excitedly. But right now, no one cares. This time it seemed very real. In the small world of Shushan Pavilion, an impatience followed. Everyone stayed inside for several hours, but they didn't seem to be enjoying themselves. Everyone was worried and anxious, for fear of some accidents. In my heart, there will always be such a sense of anxiety. The more I think about it, the more focused my eyes become, and the more confused my expression becomes. The mentality is a little bit broken, so naturally you can't wave. Boy Fang Fan, the time is almost up. Should we go out and touch the corpse? Bai Biao rubbed his hands. Now it was his turn to be anxious. While talking at the moment, he licked his lips frantically. The expression of excitement on his face changed. His eyes flickered wildly, and his mentality swelled to the extreme. Invisibly, it seemed particularly expected. Going out this time. Be sure to pay attention. If there is any special situation, come back immediately. Remember. Don't wave. Never wave. Those storage rings are there, they are all yours, and no one can take them away. But if you wander off, this little life will really be lost. What I said, you have to understand. Don't be joking in front of me, you must remember. Fang Fan glared at Bai Biao. At this moment he suddenly had a bad feeling. Fang Fan tore a hole in the small world of Shushan Pavilion. Bai Biao shrank his neck, and then got out. In the eyes, there are storage rings all over the floor, making Bai Biao scream. Then there were several cold gazes. At this moment, Bai Biao is in an inverted posture, and his body is also floating in the air. At this moment, he instantly saw the second-class General Alan and the third-class General Talha of the Protoss, as well as a group of Protoss cultivators. Grass. Cao. Bai Biao yelled a few times immediately. His face turned pale with fright, and he ran back quickly. It's you. So it's you. Death. Must die. Go to hell. When the roar came, Alan, the second-class god general of the Protoss, gritted his teeth, his body twitched violently, his eyeballs turned rapidly, and he rushed over. The surging attack instantly focused on Bai Biao. Bai Biao gritted her teeth and looked dazed. Grass. It hurts Lao Zi to death. Boy Fang Fan. I want to go back. Go back. Amidst Bai Biao's roar, Fang Fan dragged him back in time. Alan, the second-class god of the Protoss, was stunned on the spot. At this moment, his lips were pursed, his eyes could not help but become fluttering, and he didn't know what to say. Just launched the first wave of attack. And I haven't had time to attack with all my strength. He gathered all his strength and wanted to fight heartily. Now, that's it? Play. I don't mean anything. It was as if a fist the size of a sandbag hit the cotton directly. The softness made him instantly stunned. Mentality, collapsed. This, how to play? Play chicken. Nothing. Although I didn't use my full strength for the first blow, the average Saint Realm powerhouse couldn't bear it at all. But that guy just now can keep screaming. This shows that his cultivation is far beyond the Saint Venerable. Is that a demigod? It should be a quasi-demigod realm. A quasi-demigod is hiding in the dark, attacking us at any time. Damn it! Why is there no trace now? I don't feel anything anymore. Where did they all go? Ah! Ah! Who can tell me? Who can tell me? Asshole! All assholes! Damn! Just damn! The second-class god of the Protoss made Alan's expression extremely gloomy, and it was the first time he felt so powerless and speechless. Stopped at the moment, his body shrank, his eyes were dull, and he couldn't say anything. Everything, all followed by silence. Those who hide in the dark are the most disgusting. They can't see anything, they are like blind men, just searching around numbly. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3550. In the small world of Shushan Pavilion. Bai Piao fled back after being beaten with blood all over his head. Grass. Oh shit. In the future, whoever you like will do this kind of thing, anyway, I won't do it. You son of a bitch. It's scary. Broken mentality, playing chicken. It's nothing. I was beaten violently as soon as I went out. How can I play this? Boy Fang Fan, there are people outside, we are cold. We can't escape. Why? They surrounded that army tent. As long as someone shows up, they will kill them directly. Demigod, yes, several demigods are staring at. Boy Fang Fan, I'm afraid you're going to play it off this time. We don't really want to die alone here. Woo, woo woo, I'm so hard. Bai Piao squirmed his lips, and then he had a mournful expression on his face. Fang Fan fell into deep thought in silence. Obviously, this place was discovered by those Protoss people, and they are not stupid, knowing that Fang Fan and the others slipped out of this place before, so now they are going to do their best to guard it. If this is the case, in fact, many things will have their own rules. What to do and how to do it all have to predict the situation. It is definitely not possible to go out rashly. At that time, they will be directly set on fire by the Protoss. They have never had Bai Piao's strong defense power. Obviously, this path doesn't work. The best way right now seems to be to spend time in the small world of Shushan Pavilion. It has been a year and a half in the small world of Shushan Pavilion, and almost half a month has passed outside. There is a high probability that the garrison of the Protoss will not stay there forever. Furthermore, the army in the God City of the 7th Academy cannot remain silent for more than half a month. When they find something is wrong, maybe they will launch a full-scale attack. When there is chaos outside, Fang Fan and the others can take advantage of the chaos and kill them out. This is also a method. But all of this is based on assumptions. What if the army temporarily formed by the Guangming Shencheng City Guards and Guangming Academy directly evacuated the Qiwan Shencheng? Or did the Protoss increase their troops? Then they have been dispatching demigods to guard this place, so Fang Fan and the others just sat on the wax? Just stay on the spot when the time comes. How this road should be taken still needs to show a wave of regulations. It would be easy if we could pull the demigods of the Protoss into the small world. Fang Fan fumbled for his chin, and then started a comprehensive association. While talking, his eyes couldn't help flickering all over. Bring in the demigods of the Protoss. This. Brother Fang Fan, isn't this a little too crazy? Hiss, I heard that right. Do you still want to play like this? Good guy. If this is really the case, the risk factor will directly increase, okay. Brother Fang Fan, that is a demigod of the Protoss. If you really got him in, wouldn't you want to kill us all? Zhuoqiuyao swallowed his saliva with a dazed expression. Suddenly, Gish's eyes lit up. Brother Fang Fan, are you the strongest existence in this small world? The demigod comes in and is also under your control. Gisha then boldly launched a comprehensive association. As soon as Goisha said a word, the eyes of the surrounding people suddenly lit up. Bold speculation, this, seems very reasonable. From all aspects, it seems that this is indeed the case. That's kind of true. Perfect in every way. It feels like taking off directly. Brother Fang Fan, tell me the truth. In this small world, are you a god? Zhuo Yao narrowed his eyes, getting more and more excited as he spoke. Fang Fan shrugged, then nodded calmly. In this matter, there is really nothing to say. Exactly, that's what happened. It doesn't make much sense to hide it either. Just be real. In this way, as long as the Protoss and demigods from outside are brought in, we will be safe. The key now is who will be the real bait. This. Goisha raised his eyebrows, and couldn't help but look at Bai Piao. No. I won't go even if I'm killed. Good guy, do you have to drag me on this kind of thing? Impossible. Absolutely impossible one. Bai Piao kept shaking his hands and said aggressively. Owner. In the distance, a mass of purple-red fireworks floated over, and the god of Viewer inspected the entire small world of Shushan Pavilion and returned. Master, I helped you improve some fixed rules of this world. Now the speed of world evolution has increased a lot. The fireworks where the god of Viewer was floating up and down seemed to be quite excited. Almost forgot about you. You are basically immortal. Although you don't have much attack power, they can't hit you. You go out later and attract people from outside, can you do it? Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, then nodded. Ah! The purple-red flame where the god of Viewer was located trembled up and down, as if he didn't quite understand it. After thinking carefully for a while, I slowly understood. Oh, okay, okay. Obey master. The god of Viewer manipulated the purple-red fireworks to move up and down, probably expressing the meaning of nodding. Everything else is fully in place, and then we will start to move slowly. Everything is in place. Outside, Alan, the second-rank god general of the Protoss, was still furious and helpless. His eyes were already bloodshot. But now he still dare not stop. He needs to do his best to maintain the current state without the slightest change. In terms of mentality, you must also stabilize. The sense of ritual, the most important thing is the sense of ritual. Crash, crash all the way. If it breaks down, it's over. Sooner or later it will come out. The bastard just now may have an extremely powerful space talent. So it can activate the power of space to hide in the surrounding space faults. I don't believe he can always hide in the space fault. Sooner or later it will come out. Yes. It must still be the case. I just need to be patient, more patient. I won't give up until I catch this nasty bastard. Alan scratched his face and let the blood flow down crazily. He didn't take it seriously at all. He still had an explosive posture, his eyes were still fixed, his expression was still indifferent, and everything was still the same. Others, don't care at all. Hold on, just hold on. He needs to refresh himself in this way.